Hi, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast with everyone's favorite OBGYN, Dr. Angela Jones. Have you ever been too embarrassed or shy to ask your own doctor about your, girl parts? Well, you've come to the right place to get straight answers. Feel free to ask Dr. Angela anything women's health related. Obstetrics and gynecology? She keeps it real. Pregnancy? She's been there, done that. Menopause? She'll get you through. Young or old, Dr. Angela's got you covered, girl. Now here's Dr. Angela.
What's good, people? This is Dr. Angela, everyone's favorite OBGYN, and I would like to officially welcome you to episode 314 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. I'm coming to you live and in living color, no pun intended, on Tuesday. And I usually don't give the dates, so I won't give you the date. It's Tuesday, I'm on call, and it's been like crazy for me already. I did my usual, which involves working out at about 4:45 in the morning, took my dog for a nice walk, got sign out at like 7, went to the hospital and rounded, went by my office to do some miscellaneous paperwork. A lot of paperwork that I have to do these days in preparation for doing surgeries that were rescheduled and postponed due to COVID-19. And so there's a lot of red tape that a lot of people are having to go through in order to get their surgeries scheduled. So I got that done, and I was able to come home, sit in my office, and actually get tomorrow's blog post done, which is like a major score for me. I try to get that done the evening before. And sometimes I write it actually on the day that it goes out. I kind of have to be in the writing mode. And so I was actually pretty inspired to write tomorrow's blog post. Please make sure that you check it out. I've actually recently done 2 podcasts on what tomorrow's blog post is addressing, and that's masturbation, sex, and the benefits of both. Specifically, as they relate to self-care during this time of social distancing. So please make sure that you keep your eyes and ears peeled on that. I'll be blasting it on all my social media channels as well as via email. So that's like a plug for the blog, which I'll give again at the end of today's podcast. So let me just jump right into this before my phone goes off, which I don't want it to do. I don't want it to ring in the middle of the podcast, but we'll see. Anyway, today's topic, really interesting. I get a lot of queries, whether it be via email, direct message on, any of the social media platforms. But I got an email last night. It came in like around midnight, actually. And it was it's a query from our friends over at Romper. And so what they're asking is, can you get pregnant if a condom slips and is accidentally left inside a woman after sex? And then the second part of the query was, what should a woman do if this happens? So, my immediate response to this was, hell to the yeah, you can get pregnant if a condom slips off while it's inside your vagina. Because hello, it's likely that the contents of the condom are going to spill inside your vagina. And so, this was actually a really good question because it leads me into a pretty important point, which is proper use of condoms. You got to make sure that whoever you're with is using good condom technique, making sure that they withdraw before their penis goes flaccid or limp, if you will. And also making sure that upon withdrawal that they're using a hand at the base of the penis to secure the condom in place to prevent it from being left inside your vagina. Secondly, the other concern here outside of the most obvious one, which would be pregnancy, is the concern for STIs or sexually transmitted infections. So if you happen to be a woman that this happens to, what should you do? Okay, so this is like a no-brainer, but remove it. Get in there. Your vagina is not like some never-ending tunnel. Just reach up there, grab it, remove it. Have your partner reach up there, grab it, and remove it. If you're not comfortable doing this, you can go and see your friendly OBGYN, such as me. And no worries, you don't have to be embarrassed or anything like that. OBGYNs, self-included, we remove a lot of things from the vagina. Smile, pun intended there. Another point is if condoms are the only thing that you are using for contraception, and it either breaks or it gets, lost inside your vagina, or the penis comes out and it doesn't have the condom on anymore, emergency contraception might be in order, depending on where you are in your cycle. And as previously mentioned, you might also want to consider the risk of STIs in this scenario and act accordingly, specifically if you feel that you are at considerable risk. If this isn't someone that you normally are intimate with, this could just be a random hookup, no judgment. But, every scenario and situation is a little bit different. But I thought this was a really good question from my friends over at Romper. So shout out to you and thank you, as always, for reaching out to me as your credible source. And so that's the topic for today's podcast. And as is the norm, I want to give you all a huge shout out for your continued love and support. I appreciate all the love that I get on social media, all the messages via direct messaging on my social media platforms, or just, emails and shout outs. I appreciate the love. For those of you that are listening to my podcast for the first time and you liked what you heard, you can connect with me at my website. It's www.askdrangela.com. That's AskDrangela.com. There, you can sign up for my weekly blog post, which is amazing, if I may say so myself. You can sign up for my podcast. You can also, follow me on all of my social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And just, thank you so much for tuning in. As is the usual, I'm going to hit you with a quote from one of my favorite books. It's my Congratulations Graduate book. You all know that I got this either when I graduated from high school or college, one of the two. But today's lesson says, when your world seems like too much to handle, just take a deep breath and laugh. It clears the mind and frees the spirit. I certainly do a lot of laughing. Sometimes I tell folks I have to laugh to keep from crying. We all know that's true. Anyway, again, thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to reconnect with you on episode 315. Until then, choose happiness. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. For more information on women's health and the show notes for this episode, please visit Dr. Angela at www.askdrangela.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave your own message for Dr. Angela. See you soon! All of the information provided and discussed in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not take the place of consulting a physician. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or illness and does not and should not replace treatment from a medical professional.